Hi friends, in Planet Earth Dating, it's Tuesday, June 8th, 2021. In both the Lynn Life and the Jamie Body Mind, the authorized souls remain only child souls from the deeper, denser dimensions, and all other souls from all other dimensions, as long as the souls are already living by the many Search for Truth rules already given to the Search for Truth community by wiser minds above all of us. And we do acknowledge that we have not seen souls following those rules in quite some time.
That's true.
But if we're not trying to live by those rules ourselves and we don't make it clear, then we're likely to attract worse quality souls, and so we don't want to do that.
That is true.
That's why we put this on the record as often as possible. That's an answer to someone's question. And we know we have this assignment to film today and now or earlier, and we were having a hard time finding where we're supposed to film, and so we're a little late. But we have questions from viewers that are in the bell, and they've been in the bell for quite some time. Many of them have been in the bell for quite some time, and so we're wondering if it would be acceptable if we put some of these questions on the table, and some of them are repeat questions, but at least one of them is new.
That's right.
So we're hoping that that would be something that wiser minds above are interested in, these questions from viewers. I do see some kind of go on hand.
I feel it. Okay.
All right, we'll just start then.
The first question comes from a viewer who goes by the moniker DM. And DM asks, what is the difference between angelic presences and godly presences?
What is the difference between angelic presences and godly presences? There's somebody kind of being pushed forward to answer, and it's a low-level underling, kind of like that statistician to the gods kind of look. And the feeling is, easy boys, meaning, look, I don't know if you're going to like this answer, but it's the answer that I have to give. And they're talking about responsibility and ability, and that in order to fall into either of those two categories, angels or godly presences, there has to be a certain level of both ability and willingness to accept responsibility. And souls who are not able enough, whatever the cutoff is, are neither angels nor godly presences, but are something else. And souls who are not responsible enough are neither angels nor godly presences, but are something else. And trying to say, and therefore all of the angels and godly presences are all above a certain cutoff point by definition, or they would be called something else. And now the speaker is kind of pausing as if to wait to see if anybody is objecting or if there's input. But I see again the go on
hand from somebody above that speaker.
Yes. And the speaker is continuing, saying, therefore, let us not be upset by what comes next, but to acknowledge that everybody, angelic and godly presences, is already above a certain benchmark line, and the presence is trying to and then gather up his things and leave the podium without saying what is supposed to come next. But that is the job, is to say what comes next, and this has to do with responsibility, not ability. And talking about how there are many very gifted souls who, were they to accept responsibility would certainly be deemed to be godly presences. But even the most capable soul who, I think says, dodges responsibility,
I think that's the phrase,
is not a godly presence. By definition, a godly presence must be stepping up to the, I think he said bar. Stepping up to the bar and taking responsibility for something. And then if they also have the ability, which clearly they must, or they wouldn't even be in consideration, then they are deemed a godly presence. So it's both ability and acceptance of responsibility that make a godly presence. And we remember that angels are the messengers of godly presences. And so angels are those who have the ability, or they wouldn't even be part of the conversation.
That feels calm.
But they're not accepting the responsibility. They're messengers. They're helping in some way. They're doing some things that are beneficial. But they're not accepting the responsibility. And the buck stops with the godly presence. Now it's quiet.
Yeah, it's quiet.
There are presences who are not happy with that definition, but nobody seems to be taking exception with it, publicly at least.
I feel that feeling also.
They're trying to consider how to handle this,
Yes.
what it might mean to them. Can we set that aside for the moment
that's what to do,
and then circle around to it?
Okay. All right, here we go. The next question comes from an anonymous viewer who asks, what is the best possible outcome with dependable levels of backup so guardian angels can plan for 6 months from now, and these realities that include no upward flow and karma delayed until after death for all but the best of the best? This person has been paying attention to the videos.
They have. I'm clearly looking at the wrong room because it looks like from the French Revolution where the revolutionaries are meeting, and they're kind of as trashy as the American revolutionaries are, like they're rabble, and we remember that history is written by the victors, but these were the lawless rabble of both France and the US.
Oh, wild.
And that's the reality of it. They were breaking the law. And now obviously we might agree that their cause was just, or we might disagree, but that's not the point. The point is we must be looking at the wrong room, because why are we looking at lawless rabble when the real background question is, what's the difference between angels and godly presences? We would say that room doesn't look like either. It looks like it's below the bar. Mm-hmm. Can we try it again, and this time let's try and aim higher, above the bar, into that room of angels and godly presences?
Mm-hmm. The question is, what is the best possible outcome with dependable levels of backup so guardian angels can plan for 6 months from now, and these realities that include no upward flow and karma delayed until after death for all but the best of the best?
So the reason we're seeing those rabble is that those are the guardian angels, and they're just fighting with each other.
That is that feeling.
That's why we're being shown them. That's how the guardian angels look. And what we know, somebody's shouting. Mm-hmm. It's just people shouting.
Everyone's yelling.
Everybody's yelling, and some people up there in that room of guardian angels is saying that nobody's following directions, and people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and it is very true. That's been our observation also. What is the best possible outcome? That nobody knows. I think that's an all bets are off look.
But you know what I'm able to see above that room when I ask this question is a room that has a lot of maps on the wall, and they look like the maps of Israel and Palestine. The
I see
angels
it.
were showing us this morning in morning channeling work, and I can see that room with maps.
We think it's really crucial that they acknowledge what's going on in the guardian angel dimension.
I think that's the big
because
important thing.
if they don't acknowledge that the guardian angels themselves are just scrabbling and fighting, they're going to miss something really important that it's our job to deliver.
That's this feeling.
We've got to shine the spotlight on the guardian angelhood. Has been poisoned by humanity's revolting nature, would be my guess. And we would say Nietzsche was right. Nietzsche was right, and that humanity is too poisonous, too toxic, especially now that there are so many of us. Maybe
That's
if there were
right.
fewer, like there used to be a couple hundred years ago, maybe it would still work, but it isn't working now. And if the guardian angels are scrabbling, then what chance does humanity have of doing the right thing? And now somebody else is shouting about humanity not doing what they're told to do anyway, so what difference does it make what we tell them to do? Which is a valid point. And they're referring to the projects, which was a multi-year campaign conducted by our Ra and his team, who were the highest quality souls affiliated with planet Earth, and they assigned 6 million souls to come in and try and get 2 humans just of average resistance to the soul plan, to live their soul plan, see if you could kind of like force the human to live the soul plan, and it didn't work.
That's right.
And so the job of the soul has always been to inspire, and that was tested, is can we step beyond inspiration into just get them to do it? And the answer is no.
No.
We must inspire we souls must inspire the host lives to do what they're supposed to do. Somebody else is talking about an experiment that they seem to be running to see if guardian angels maybe can deliver karma, each of us for ourselves, individual deliveries of individual karma inside a very small group of humans that's easily observable, and just to see if it can be done contemporaneously.
That's the word.
Rather than waiting for after the life has ended, where everything can be dissected in minute detail and the person can be delivered to their reincarnation that is a match for all the bad things they just did.
That's right.
And so they're trying to see if they can do that contemporaneously with just a very small group of lives, similar to the projects where they were trying to see if they could just get people to live their soul plans who didn't want to live their soul plans.
That's right.
We don't know the answer. We don't know how it's going to turn out. And that's the wonderful thing about experiments. That's what makes experiments interesting, is we don't know how it's going to turn out. That's what makes for an interesting life. For him is a message. Why do you ask?